I haven't been live since the beginning of the year when I was talking about 75 hard, which I did not finish. I think I might have did 3 days. So that said, I am out of town on business and figured I would come on here and do a live session instead of pressuring myself with trying to get the right aesthetic, the right setup, and just got on here and did something organic that I can still load and people can reference. So that said, it is Mind Your Fashion Monday. I decided to do the Mind Your Fashion videos on Monday because it just worked as a brand to me. Sound very catchy, right? So I am talking men's fashion today. This topic in particular is addressing how men can, masculine men in particular, because there are men who are fashionable, who accept the challenge of incorporating new pieces and things of that nature into their wardrobe. And then there's other guys who just feel like some things are a little too feminine or a little bit too, let's say, unisex. And because they're so masculine, they just stay away from certain things. So today's episode is more so to highlight those opportunities to add trendy things in your wardrobe while also staying true to your masculinity and feeling comfortable in the things that you add in your wardrobe. So that said, let's talk style. So for most men, again, not all, but there are a group of men who freeze up at the thought of a stylist, at the thought of someone mentioning changing their wardrobe or even their, or saying makeover, if you will. And for the longest, I never understood, like, why is it that men get so shook around change in general, right? And then specifically something around their appearance. So recently, I did a little poll. One was more of a research study, if you will, or a case study. I mentioned styling a very masculine man who is very much so like, I am who I am. I show up how I show up, and my brain is what people are here for, so it doesn't matter how I look. And all of that is very true. Let's be clear. If you come with the smarts or you come with the jewels, the knowledge, the wisdom, a lot of times your brand, your personality, your business will sell itself. However, what's wrong with putting a little razzle dazzle on there and trying to make sure that your overall appearance matches what you bring to the table? So when I mentioned styling him, he was kind of like, what? When I walk up in the room, like, girls do this, girls do that. And mind you, I never mentioned anything about girls or what styling had to do with attraction, if you will. It was more so a branding conversation, and it just really spoke to how men look at fashion. And it really tickles me because I don't know why more people don't care about their image. I just really don't get it. And this is somebody who, on a regular day, I'm wearing sweats, I'm chilling. Like, so I don't look. Let me show you what I got on today. I don't look like this all the time. Like, and I think that's the mix up with people who think of a stylist like, oh, I wanted to show y'all my shoes. I might. But yeah, like, oh, you gotta be put on all the time. That's not what we're here to say, or that's not what I'm here to say. Because I dress how I feel, and sometimes I just don't feel like putting it on. But what I am saying is, if you're doing some kind of professional event, or it's something around exposure of your business, why not look your very best self? So that looks like wearing a suit that actually fits you, um, wearing colors that complement your skin tone. I don't know, wearing pants that are flattering to your body type. Because, a lot of men are doing like this loose fit now. And for some people, that doesn't really look the best aesthetically. So personal style is key when you're trying to brand yourself, specifically as a business owner. And that was all I was getting at with this conversation. So from there, I gathered, wow, men really have trouble talking about image. So what I did next was researched. And I started getting like y'all, I asked Chat, like, how do I present styling or image consulting to a man? A masculine man. I was very clear. You gotta be very direct with her and she will be direct with you. And essentially it's the brain if you will. You have to use certain words like a makeover. It wouldn't go well. So I'm learning, y'all. Like, I'm trying to figure out how I can get in. Not. Like, what can I do to make this conversation or this experience or this exchange easier? So after looking that up, I phoned a friend who I believe is extremely fashionable, but also very masculine. And even in our exchange, it was funny because he considered himself a minimalist, and I was like, okay, cool, I can see that. And he thought of it in terms of like the color choices that he selects, and the fact that he felt like he wasn't someone who did a lot of like accessories or loud accessories or big accessories, if you will. So I was like, are you an accessories person? He was like, no. But while we're on the phone, I point out a bracelet, a necklace. So I said, so you do wear jewelry? And he was like, yeah, but like, you can only see my necklace if I'm showing it. Like, depending on the kind of shirt I have. And you can only see, my bracelet is like very small. It's a small rope. I said, but nonetheless, you have on accessories, which makes you someone who takes pride in accessories. And that is something that I think men don't even understand. Like, it's not about the amount. It's not about how big it is, but it's about the detail. And those small details make the difference. That said, we went further and he kind of talked about trends that he's incorporated, because he was more of my focal point in terms of an example to use to help convince men, one, to figure out how to incorporate trends into their existing wardrobe without feeling uncomfortable, and still kind of getting that slight update, but not OD to where it's just like, who am I, you know? So he mentioned that with the trendy things, he would go for like the more cool color tones. So then I mentioned sneakers, because there are some masculine men who there's certain sneakers they won't even wear. There's a lot of trendy shoes out that I believe a lot of masculine men may not consider. But then there's the guy that doesn't like trendy things, and this guy in particular, he's someone who, if somebody else is chasing it, or this is what the overall group of quote unquote fashion people are into, he's gonna go the opposite way. So he mentioned how at one point Asics was just like that shoe, and then everybody got on it, and so he politely stopped doing Asics and went to another shoe. So he was saying how he's been observing like Reebok lately, and he's always been like a New Balance guy, so that's his kind of like shoe that he'll always probably do, no matter if people into it or not. I'm missing nails, y'all. They press on, so I'm trying stuff out. But anyway, so yeah, he mentioned that being an avenue to like introducing more. Well, no, so he's a street style guy, and he is now looking to incorporate more suit looks. So now, with of course it being somewhat the trend, the more sophisticated look, but making it street style, he said that with his frame, he's basically like 6'1", very, very small frame, skinny. And he said back in the day, like the reason why he stayed away from suits was because he didn't like how it made his shoulders look. And then he got introduced to what we call tailoring. Y'all, tailoring is key, especially for men. Tailoring is so key, and I feel like there's not enough men who have a tailor. So we got all these bosses out here, y'all going to meetings in just collar shirts. There's an opportunity for you to really look the part, baby, in a suit. So this is free game. H&M is your friend. H&M has some of the most affordable quality suits in the game for me, and this is for both, male and female, because like Express, they have stuff, but I will say, like, in terms of the men, like, you have to be like a 36, no bigger than a 38 in a ways, to really get a full experience from New York and Company, or not New York and Company, Express, excuse me. So H&M, and granted, they do tailor to the smaller size guys too, but online there's more opportunities for sizing and things of that nature. But even with guys being small, as I mentioned, the guy that is the example I'm using, he's a small frame as well. So it's not even just about because you're quote unquote skinny. It's about how the suit looks on you and how you wear the suit, not the suit wearing you. So he mentioned how ever since he started getting his stuff tailored, it shifted how he looks at suits, and as a result, he wants to incorporate more into his wardrobe. And I just thought that was so cool because, again, this is a street style guy who was very much so like a t-shirt, a nice pair of bottoms, whatever they may be, and some sneakers. And he was always so loud in his subtle looks. But he recently did a suit look, black and white. Again, he does consider himself a minimalist, very clean. But his hair does the talking for him. He has wicks locked. So it's one of those things where even with your, I guess, like, masculinity and your way of being a minimalist or being more conservative, there's something that sticks out about you, like your uniqueness. And of course, we consider that personal style. So the conversation today is, one, trying to figure out what your personal style looks like. So without incorporating any new trends, whether that be accessories or a type of pattern and or a fit of a pant, what do you typically look like when you step out? So once we figure out what your personal style looks like in general, that's when we can figure out how to expand on that. Because we're not necessarily saying, or not we're, I always say that. I'm not necessarily saying that your wardrobe has to really start over. It needs to be thrown out and you need to just get rid of everything in your closet. Now, is an audit needed? Yes. But I will say, my overall experience of men and their wardrobe, they don't have much. And it's so crazy because some of the time, like when I see certain guys and I'm like, oh, he be putting it on. Like, to get closer to them and like see their wardrobe, it's not as extensive as like a female. And I just be wondering, like, dang, you really be making this look like different stuff. But what that looks like is how men have those 3 solid suits, but then they switch it up. And then you get those 3 dress shirts. And then you get those 3 ties. And then you get those 3 pair of dress shoes. And then the coordination and the mix up before you finish, you got 12 looks, if not more. So I just think, like, that's the unique part about suits, because you can do so much. You can switch it up, make it look like however you want to, take something out, add something in. And I'm a girl who I love seeing like the casual business looks. Like in New York, for instance, watching a guy in a suit with trainers, which I'll be doing. I don't even do this, but yeah, watching a guy in trainers, the Adidas. I know that there's, of course, more than Samba, but that's the only one that I'm really familiar with because I'm not necessarily like a sneaker head. But I do see that the flat sole is the trending sneaker these days, especially in men's fashion. But I will say overall, unisex as well. Like the flat trainers are in, and pairing them with casual looks is so tea. And it's effortless, it's clean, and it can literally be paired with, to me, any kind of neutral. Like I've seen the khaki looks, I've seen, like I said, the business suit looks, and it's really been all kinds of colors that I've seen these trainers match with. And it can be a white trainer with, like, let's say a brown stripe or something, and the sole is a lighter brown, like a bubble gum, what they call bubble gum color or whatever. Like just seeing all these variations of colorways, and it's just like, wow, this is really minimal, but it can be so much as you expound on the look. So detail is everything, and it doesn't have to be loud. It could be subtle, but it's the detail. And with that said, I had put something on my Instagram. If you're not following me, you should be. This is my little AI model that I made. I think I did a really good job with him. I literally told Chad, like, build him up, sis. So that's the first picture. And then I said, well, add a little accessory. So then I gave him a little lapel, right? And a tie. So again, this is the build up. So right here, he just has a lapel, no tie. So that's more of a casual look. But then I said, now, if I was trying to look at a man from afar, he was a businessman, and it was enough to get my attention. Because, again, it's the details. It's not about you just looking neat, because there's a lot of men who can look neat. But did he pay attention to how he put this outfit on today? That's key. And this is what we ended up with. You got the watch. You got the bracelet. Now, to some, could this be too much? Sure. But this says to me, I like jewelry. I probably would have done like a smaller bracelet, of course, and maybe a quieter watch. But the point I'm making is, let's say that was his staple. Like, he always wears that watch. He always wears that bracelet. He always wears that ring. That with that suit, look like he could beat somebody in the head, but he could also kill a business deal. We like variety. So yeah, the point of this is that the build-up is everything. Same suit, same look, but added a tie, added jewelry, and voila. Then I did another little something on my Instagram, a guide on how to update your style, specifically for men. So this goes back to the starting with a small change, like I told you guys, not killing your whole wardrobe, not killing all your dreams, saying like you can't dress, like what you got on, what's in your closet, you don't have no pieces. Now, are you someone who doesn't have like a professional capsule? Then maybe that is your story. But overall, there's room for like growth with every wardrobe. Like maybe we can add a little cargo here, some little chino pants there to pair with, let's say, your plain V-neck tees or something, because that's still a way to like just, juice it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so with that said, how I mentioned the upgrade without well, I didn't say overhauling, but this is the language that I have on this guide. Upgrade without overhauling, meaning refresh your wardrobe by replacing basic items with a trendier design. So, okay, you always wear neutral shirts, but maybe get a neutral shirt with a design this time. Or maybe try to add like a light bomber as we enter into fall. Maybe you can get a bomber to start layering and start seeing how you can get that fall wardrobe to be refreshed. Then we have colors. Again, if you are someone who says, listen, I ain't never done purple. Okay, well maybe we should try a darker shade of purple with you instead of like a lilac. To just introduce you to colors outside of your typical nudes or just your white tees that you like to wear. And with that, like I was mentioning, just adding things, it makes it versatile. So I said on the guide, make it work for any scenario. Choose versatile pieces that work for both casual and dressier occasions. So same stuff, but just adding to it. And I know this is something that not a lot of men do, but thrifting is your friend. Go to the cleaners. Like, if it's something that you like, but you like, nah, I ain't wearing nobody else's clothes. Don't look at it like that. Because there's things that I've given to the, excuse me, that I've donated, excuse me, I only wore it once. Like, not for nothing, I was trying to donate this. And I've had this dress for years, and I've only worn it maybe 3 times, and I think this is the 3rd time. So when you think of something being at the thrift store, especially now, with the way people just the clothing waste is at an all-time high, as we know, and it affects the environment. So before we just throw stuff away, let's find a way to use it and recycle it, upcycle it, if you will. Then I did a how-to guide, a wardrobe refresh step by step. I'm telling you, this is good stuff, and all on my Instagram. This is the chart. See? So step 1, survey your closet. That's the audit. Step 2, remove unused items. If you know them sneakers is talking, I got a coworker who been wearing these shoes since I know them, and that's 2023. And that's not a problem for a guy who takes care of his shoes, but he don't. So I recently, matter of fact, last week I said, please throw those shoes away. They're talking. And thankfully he brought some. I don't think it had anything to do with my opinion, because we've said something to him before, but he got a friend now who's into fashion. So because he said it, now that he went and got 4 pair of shoes and another pair of white sneakers that he does not take care of well. So that's another thing with men. If you know you're hard on sneakers and you don't really have the time and or desire to clean them like those real sneakerheads, stay away from light colored sneakers. If you know that you are in a metro area like the DMV, and you know you'll get them dirty just by doing your little club hops and bar hops, and then again just walking from day to day with different inclements of weather, and they're white. So introduce some other colors into your wardrobe. And that was the thing with him. He was like, but I love white shoes, and I get that, but let's explore some other shoe colors so that you don't look busted. Because we should all know, men, that women watch your shoes. They watch your feet. Just like y'all look at our toes, we look at your shoe game to see just how much this man cares about himself. So that's what I was trying to articulate to my friend. And I'm so glad after 2 years, over 2 years, he has finally got some new shoes. So small wins. The third step was upcycle or donate, which I mentioned already. Invest in staples. So that's when we start to incorporate the stylist. Get some staples. Like, let's go shopping. And from that, we can mix and match that wardrobe, the existing wardrobe, with the new items to figure out how many looks we can get. And with that, you have to go into it and be receptive. Be open. Because even, so this is a client that I had. It's a white tee, but look how I build on that look. Priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make something pop. Another client upcycled that. That was a denim jacket from the thrift store. Cut the sleeves off, and now he got a little biker look. This stuff is easy, y'all. So, as always, these episodes are a way to first invite you in, conversation-wise, to see my way of thinking in terms of fashion. To always let my men know I am a male stylist. Okay, I am a female, but I'm a male stylist. I target men. I enjoy men's fashion, and I am always looking for new male clients. So being that you guys are like, maybe it's because I like a challenge, but you guys are literally like the hardest people to convey the importance of a stylist to, or the importance of a wardrobe, or the importance of adding things into your wardrobe to spice it up. And I accept that challenge greatly. But I like doing these. This is my 5th topic, and it's been very exciting, and I'm learning from it as well. Like I said, I asked chat, like, how do I present this conversation at ease with this group, this demographic, so that it doesn't feel like a slight, it doesn't feel like I'm picking on you. I'm simply trying to assist, if you will. So today I hope you got something out of it. Share this with a friend. Let them know that Dime is looking for him. If you have an event coming up, a birthday, my books are open and ready to receive. So yeah, check me out, Dine Style Me on Instagram, and I am definitely looking forward to servicing you guys. And thanks for watching as always. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much. If you aren't subscribed, I think you should. I think it's a cool thing to be a part of this world where I'm talking all things fashion, lifestyle, of course, music, and beauty. So until next time,